Okay. Marcel.
Oh, we have people joining already?
Yeah, we are at 4 people now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we can get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Today's live stream for this old year, and today we're going to talk about how to set financial goals. Hi, Dan the Wise. Cheers. Today we're going to teach you what year-end planning and so on is, why this is important, why you should be doing that. And well, Yasa and me, we have prepared some drinks. I hope you guys are also comfortable at home. We're going to roughly spend half an hour and talk you through some points that we think are important for anyone as the year comes to an end.
Yep. So I have my drinks ready. So I hope.
So what are you having? What do you have?
I'm having a white wine from somewhere, I don't know.
Nice. Okay, well, maybe we start off by telling you guys why we think having a plan is important. Oh, Marcel say the wine is from Portugal.
Okay, thanks.
It must be a good one. Okay, why is it important to plan? So a lot of people, they go about their life day by day, moment by moment even, and they never really stop and plan anything. So I do know some people, maybe colleagues, acquaintances before, they kind of are just in a, to say, like in this hedonic treadmill. They keep going, but actually they don't move forward. And yeah, some of these people, they earn decently, they have nice salaries, they have everything prepared for them, a very comfortable life. Everything prepared for them means they have things like insurance, retirement planning, disability insurance, eventually also everything is lined up. So in essence, it doesn't really mean anything for them to actually go down and plan something with their money, because why should you? Everything is taken care of. And this is like a comfort zone trap. And some people never manage to get out of that. And I like to say, if you don't plan anything, it's like failing to plan is planning to fail. So you have to do something and plan something to make more out of your life in a way. And if you plan more, you can have a better life. Starting right, you don't have to wait, by the way, for the year to turn, but I think it's a good topic for today. You can do this anytime if you watch the replay later on. But yeah, so for me and my wife, I think the big part started when we actually came into quite a difficult situation. We were in Taiwan, and we knew that if we don't plan our life, that was 15 years ago, almost 15 years ago, if we don't plan our life, maybe we have to separate. And that's when we actually also grabbed a glass, actually a bottle of wine and some other things along to start talking about our lives. We did a 5-year plan, the first one in 2006. We finished a bottle of wine, we had a good talk. Both of us had our Post-its. I love Post-its. We wrote down our dreams, and we had a big sheet of paper at the wall where later on each of us could actually write down some dreams that we want to have in life. And we somehow discussed and figured a way how both of us can achieve most of those dreams in the next 5 years.
And do you do that every 5 years?
Actually, we do that every 5 years, and we also do some smaller adjustments on the way. But in large, actually, we do it in a 5-year cycle, and 2021 will be the next time we have to do it. So I'm very excited about this, because a lot of new ideas are in our heads, and also we met a lot of new friends. 2020 was more about meeting people online than in real, and travel less, but the world is full of opportunities, and I think we will, somewhere next year, we will do a new 5-year plan for both of us. Correct.
And if you look back, how does having a 5-year plan help you to achieve your dreams or your goals compared to without it?
I think one thing first and foremost, it's a couple exercise, so we both do it. We kind of, it's not just about one person, or and then you have fights about it, right? So both sides, they have ideas and plans, and then you try to find a way how to make it work for both sides. Simple as that. And then actually, instead of fighting against each other, you work as a team, even as a dream team, so to say, if you hit it right. And you actually know also the goals of the other person, and unless they change, it's quite good, because then you can see how you can help, and sometimes you can combine certain things together. Like we had simple goals. The first 5-year cycle was at the end we became parents, and actually our son just came in time. It was in 2011 that he was born, so 5 years after we planned. It was the last item to mark off. Of course, you cannot have babies on demand like that, but we kind of said, okay, before we want to be parents, we want to have a more, let's say, a more secured financial situation. We plan to buy a home, and we had certain steps that we did it one by one, and ultimately we got to the end, right? And the other thing is also, how does it help? If you plan for 5 years, you can be crazier about your plans. You can think bigger, larger, so you don't have to think, oh no, that's not possible. You can actually shoot for the moon. And because 5 years is a long time. And later on, of course, you have to roll it backwards. So dream big, be ambitious, and then break down your goals into smaller goals, prioritize them, know where you have to start, where you can continue. And when it comes to later, like even weekly or daily planning, you know that every time you do something, it should serve a bigger purpose, which is your 5-year goal. If you just have your 5-year goal, but you don't break it down, maybe you don't move so much, right? And if you just have the small goals, it may be not motivating enough, and you might get lost.
Okay, I'll bring myself back. Then how do you plan your financial goals? How do you know where you want to be next year or in 5 years?
For finances, right? So actually, you also dream big. You probably think in terms of net worth. We have looked at net worth in our last session. We have looked at how income and expenses play a role 2 weeks ago. So you roll it back, you see where you stand there, and you also shoot big. So you say, okay, I want to grow my net worth, or I want to replace my salary, or you can say you want to replace half your salary in 5 years' time. And then you work it back. You see, okay, maybe you have a salary of, let's say, 100,000. So if you want to have half of that paid by passive income, you have to have 50,000 passive income in 5 years. Now you can say, how do I buy income? There's many ways, right? But then actually you have this number. The number should serve as a motivational thing, and the timeline should tell you by when you have to do it. There's another thing, I like to mention that a lot when you do planning. It's called the Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law is something that, let's say you have a task and you give yourself 1 week to achieve it. Most likely it will take you that 1 week thing, because you plan for 1 week. But if you give yourself just 1 day, Maybe that's a little bit too ambitious. Maybe it needs 2 days or 1.5 days, but at least it will not take you the week. So you can actually stress yourself by setting the timeline more closer, and actually achieve much more like that. But that's also something each and every one of you has to decide for themselves. You cannot just stress yourself out. Life is not like a sprint after a sprint or after a sprint. It's more like a marathon, and you have to know at what pace you want to go about it, because it also should be enjoyable.
Yeah, and I also agree that I think every person, no matter how much or how little you earn or how big or small your expenses is, you can always set a goal for next year, and it will definitely help you to improve your personal financial situation if compared to without the goal. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you plan for something, you will be doing definitely better than someone that doesn't plan anything at all. So you can start very small. You can look at, when it comes to money, look at your income one side, right? Ask for a raise is one thing. See how you can get a promotion. Maybe some people think about a shift, change their jobs, do something new. It could also be starting a new so-called side hustle, so getting an extra income stream up and running. This could all be your goals, right? So plan for that, and then give yourself a deadline and get started executing on it. Making money, or making a money plan is like GPS. So in a way, you have to first triangulate where you're at. If you don't know where you are, you don't know where to go and in which direction to go and how to start, right? So first, triangulate your situation, know your income, your expenses, your net worth, all these things, and then dream big. Have a big goal, and if you map it down, if you write it down and see how you get there, you will know the way, right? And then it's about execution later on. So staying the course, not giving up too fast, and measuring things on the way. So yeah, it's a little bit cliche to talk about the SMART goals, so to say, like be specific, measure, have achievable goals, realistic and time bound, but that's all about it. Yeah.
And do you track your net worth every year?
Yes. Oh yeah. So that's something. I'm a little bit crazy maybe for that, but we started in the late 1990s with an Excel. So my Excel sheet is 20 years in the making, and so we even have like 5-year plans how to grow every year by year. And of course, sometimes you miss the goal. Sometimes the market does not do what you want to do if you're invested. That can happen, right? But then maybe there's another year that will be much better after that.
Yeah, also I think I have seen a lot of personal finance bloggers. They track and show their saving rate, net worth every month and every year. And it's amazing to see how it's growing. I think it really helps.
Yeah, once I think once you visualize it, it becomes very motivating, because money is something abstract. If you don't have the money at home in cash, it gets like you don't even know what it is about. It's just numbers, and that's why some people, they don't really focus too much on it. I also think this is an important point why you should teach money things to your kids, because the children these days don't really see what happens with money. You have credit cards, bank accounts, but as people use less and less cash in their daily life, money almost becomes something intangible. You don't see, feel, or you get less in lesser contact with it. So show the money, your cash, teach your kids, give them an allowance and so on. And also for yourself, if you have growth targets, visualize it. So I know some people, they have some people, they like to have something on their fridge door, like how to reduce your debt. And then for their debt, they have like a few cubes. Each cube is a $5,000 thing or something like that. At the end, if you have $200,000 of debt, every time you pay off, you erase it. And then you see actually your progress. If you want to build wealth, it could also be that you actually mark it down. Or some people, they draw a big house, or your dream, you can draw your dream and then actually fill out and paint, put it into color to what extent you have achieved your goal. And then also stuff like this, making it visual, you can actually motivate your family. So let's say your kids are in the family, they see this new house or the dream vacation or whatever it may be that you want to save for. They can, they're part of the experience, right? And if you say, oh no, today we don't spend the money on home delivered pizza, I cook the pizza myself, you feel a little bit there, and then the kids will know why. It's very clear then why you do that.
So the whole family works together towards the same goal.
Yes,
and
correct.
And then I want to highlight here that I put the link of the net worth tracker in the conversation box. So if you are curious about what is your net worth, so you know where you start, then you can use this template to find out. And then you know next year where you want to be, because net worth is the single most important parameter to tell if you're wealthy or not. Not about how rich you are, but how wealthy you are. So that might be helpful if you are curious to know. So it's in the
and once you map your thing, right, it's like you can, you know the direction, then you hit the gas and you go. And of course, like sometimes you start to go into a direction, you may think, oh, it's maybe not the right way. You can adjust the course every once in a while. So don't just think because you set the 5-year goal, you have to be very stubborn about it. So you can actually every month, every 2 months, 3 months, you can review the goals and adjust them a little bit. Of course, don't just throw them overboard and say, I don't need it. But you can adjust a little bit so that it suits you better. Tracking regularly. And then when you are on the right course, just stay on the course. Simple as that. And then you have to measure your net worth and see that one grows, because ultimately for money goals, that's the most important number that there is.
Can you give us some concrete examples how you use your tracker that you really help you to identify areas either you can improve or areas that you can, it's really like a awakening moment because from your tracker numbers?
Okay, sure. Like one thing is you look at what kind of assets you have. When you actually put in your assets into the net worth tracker, you can also think of it like which part of net worth, which of my assets are working for me and which parts of my assets are not working for me. So there's people, they have a nice car. I use this cliche example, right? But the car maybe is not nice enough that it is a classic and appreciates. Maybe it's just an old car that gets older and depreciates over time. So that if you consider it an asset, it will slowly go lower, right? The same thing for furniture and other things, electronics. Some people put funny things in their net worth. Maybe don't include these things. Other stuff, like if you have a piece of real estate somewhere, but it's not really in a place that appreciates, you may want to consider selling it. So you have to see what is the growth potential of your assets. When you go through this exercise and line them all up, ask yourself for each and every item, where can this asset be in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years? And if you think you can actually shift a little bit, you might be very surprised if you shift 1 or 2 of your assets into a more productive asset, you could actually unlock a lot of potential there. So that's why I think it's a very interesting exercise to do that towards the year end.
And I like the story you told in the podcast that about your spreadsheet. Then you notice that how you move your kids from private school by renting out your apartments, you are literally achieved your financial independence.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, there's some things you will be seeing, like if you have private school expenses, that could be a big drag. In my case, it was a huge number. And if you actually think with 2 kids and you extrapolate that for 20 years, it's at the end, I think it was more than $2 million that I don't have to earn, shifting the kids from private to like normal school. And yeah, you might be surprised. So also look at your biggest expenses and think about if you could take action there. And don't just do what other people are doing around you. So others are not the benchmark. You have to decide for yourself where you want to fit in. And once you do this exercise with writing down all your parts, you might be surprised what you can unlock there. Indeed, yeah.
I have a question to the audience. Usually this time are the people who are leaving the chat room. So I want to ask the audience, have some of you already started financial planning for every year or every 5 years? So, or do you think about starting it? And recently,
I will have a sip now.
Recently, I had a conversation with a friend that they started to do the vision board. I think it's a very powerful tool. A lot of people started vision board and then goal setting. I think it same applies to financial goals. If you include that in your goal, you might as well achieve more next year.
Mm-hmm. A vision board is like you write down what you really want to achieve, right? And then you have it visually in front of you in the living room or somewhere, and then yeah, you cannot get around it.
But I think it's a very powerful tool because if you look at it all the time, especially when it's next to your desk, your kitchen, it subconsciously reminds you to take actions towards it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people actually they carry it around. Like others, I know if somebody want to have a horse, you can have a plastic horse with you, for instance, right? You actually materialize it and then you put it somewhere. I knew a guy who had a toy car and say, I'm saving for the car. Other people, they were looking at homes the whole time, right? And then filling, like I just mentioned. So it could be anything, not just a number. So make it a little bit more emotional. We are humans. It's not just about crunching numbers. It's about achieving goals, your dreams, make your dream become reality, using money as a tool. Yeah.
So today we talk about the importance of having a plan, especially a financial plan. And then also you share your story with your wife. I like the 5-year planning. I think it works very well when couple having the same goals and they work together so they don't compete with each other on the spending. Like you bought this, then I have to buy something else.
Yeah, there are some people. Let's say you have a joint account. I'm not saying having a joint account is right or wrong, but if you have a joint account and both of you put all your money in there, and then one of you maybe will buy, let's say, a handbag for she or he will buy a motorcycle or whatever, right? It could be either way. Then you always have to justify to the other side why you actually want to do that. And if you actually start to take out a little money here and there, the other side might think, oh, if you do that, let me also do something. Otherwise, I'm missing out. So it actually becomes a reinforcing negative downward spiral instead of building up. So it could rather be giving each other an allowance or accepting, yes, we can have these 3 items this year, something like that, rather than just having the money lie around and then both partners like help yourself kind of self-service area where you just go and take as long as there is, because eventually there's nothing left.
Okay. But I guess for the audience, I think the number one most important thing is if you really want to improve your financial situation, you're gonna to have a goal. If you don't even have a goal, it's never going to be clear like what actions you can take to achieve and then where you will be at the end of next year. So I hope you guys can download this net worth tracker to really understand where you are now, you need to think about what you want to improve, either to have more savings, either to earn more money, or start investing. Then next year we are going to talk more on those topics and really how you can take small actions to make your goal come true. Yeah.
I think the single most important thing after making your goals is to make them become habits. So once you decide this is what I want to do, a lot of people now will probably have goals about losing weight, going to the gym, money targets, right? But once you have this nice goal, you have to know how to become what actually helps you achieve these goals. And that's a mindset thing. So for mindset, that's part of how to create habits. And maybe we can talk about how to make habits last in one of the next sessions, because I think this is quite important, especially after New Year. Because if you don't make it last, your whole effort and your planning is also worthless again.
Yeah, totally true. And also we talk about money habits. Our very first lesson, how little spending can result in big fortune in the future. But that's the result. But what actions you can take to achieve that result is by changing your habits.
Yeah, correct. So I hope we have shown you some parts now that you can take action to plan, talk with your partner, dream big. Don't be shy to dream very big. If you have enough time, you can do anything you want, but then you break it down and you plan your time, right? So the 5-year plan has to become a weekly plan and maybe even a daily plan. Maybe one thing I haven't shared before is if you go towards like the daily planning, I personally, if I manage my time, I like to go and see, for this week, I probably have 3 big items I want to achieve. When do I do it? How do I do it? And then I fill my calendar. I use Outlook. Other people use other online calendar functions. Some people still have an agenda where they write it down, right? But do write down what you want to achieve by when, and then don't let yourself on a loose leash. So be strict to yourself. Review your goals, right, and then try to fulfill your plans. Because if you're your own boss in that, right? So if you plan for it, why would you cheat on yourself or give yourself a free time every time you feel not like it, right? That defeats the purpose.
Okay.
So manage your time and then manage your money.
Yep. And also I leave the link to the Facebook group, which is Fast Track Money. If you are interested in personal next year, join the Facebook group. We'll have a lot of content and interactions there.
Yeah, please. Yeah, the link is there, and we will be engaging. If you have any questions or you want to chat with us for other stuff, we plan to build a community there for active exchange. So please welcome, join us on the Facebook group as per link.
And then lastly, cheers and then for a successful new year.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers to everyone. And reach out if you have any questions, suggestions, and so on. We just started this show recently, but we plan to keep going every week and improve on the go. And thank you very much for your time to join us here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.